Howdy, Brazos Valley. This is Hayden Riley, broker with Inhabit Real Estate Group, with your MLS update. This is where I go over the previous month's real estate statistics to share with you what has been going on in the Brazos Valley. And keep in mind, this information is general information provided by the Texas Association of Realtors, by the Bryan College Station MLS, and by the Texas Real Estate Center. It is general information for the entire area. If you'd like to know how this applies specifically to you, please feel free to reach out to me at haydenriley.com or on Facebook at Hayden Riley Realtor. Without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and get started? All right, y'all, it is February of 2023, so that means we're going over January's numbers. Let's get started. Average days on market. First, let's take a look, a little housekeeping. The colors of the lines have changed. So 2022 is purple. 2023 is the green dot that you see there. 2021 is brown. 2020 is blue. 2019 is red. So the key is down below. So that'll keep you honest there. But I know that. We've switched things up, so hopefully it's not too confusing. So, as you can see, last year we had a very active year, so therefore our average days on market went very low. In fact, 64 was the lowest in 2022, which is extremely low. You're taking into account all the multi-million-dollar properties, all the way down to $100,000 properties or less. So that definitely means that real estate was moving at that time. It doesn't mean that it's not moving now. In fact, we are still, if you're comparing us to pre-pandemic years, we are well below where we were in 2019 and 2020. So just keep in mind the 120-day mark. That's usually the point at which we start moving into a balanced market where neither seller nor buyer has an advantage over one another. But so we're at 98 for January. In December we were at 97. So still very active months. And typically those numbers go down as we move into the spring months and the summer months, because that's when more of the activity happens, more of the purchases happen. So you can imagine the days on market goes down. So we'll see whether or not that continues, but that's been the trend. Next, we're looking at units sold, otherwise known as closed transactions. So looking at, first, let's look at December. December, we ended the year at 242 units sold, and we started the year at 201 in January. And these are just, pretty close to trend. So, nothing that really stands out to me here. We typically peak in May, June, sometimes July, but the last 4 years it's been June. I don't know, 3 years, I guess. Back in 2020, we peaked in July. So we'll see where we end up. I have a feeling somewhere between pre-pandemic numbers and pandemic numbers. So we're not going to be where we were last year, I don't think, but that is not. There's nothing to fret about. We continue to show signs of being in a seller's market. The new listings taken, we started off the year at 338 new listings taken. December we ended at 232, and December was definitely on trend. As far as January, we started off low, but we typically ramp up really quick between February and March. Typically, March is really when we peak as far as new listings taken, because that's when everybody wants to put their house on the market, because everybody buys in April, May, June, those months. So next, the Bryan College Station housing report. So those last 3 slides I just showed you, those are for the 7-county area. This is just for the cities, the 2 cities together. The median price point went up 11.3% at $299,085. The active listings are up 85% compared to compared to this time last year at 714 in January. Days on market, 98, just like the 7-county area, which is 13 more days than in January of 2022. Price distribution is kind of the new norm now, with the high points or the lion's share of the market between $200,000 and $400,000, with the prices climbing as they have the last couple of years. Closed sales are down 2.9% compared to this time last year, and months of inventory, 2.3 months of inventory compared to 1.1 in January of 2022. Now, all of that to say, I feel that we should not be comparing ourselves to last year. Last year, as you saw in the previous charts, was an anomaly. We had kind of the perfect storm of low interest rates, lots of buyers, and lots of sellers who chose, instead of putting their houses on the market, refinancing instead. So as a result, there's not a lot of inventory for people to choose from, and that drives up price. It drives up demand. And so now that has changed. Now we have more inventory. Yes, it is low compared to what we're used to pre-pandemic, but the interest rates have gone up. Number of buyers, I don't know. I don't think they've really decreased. So nonetheless, it's a good indication that we're in a seller's market. Just try not to get too latched on to the fact that we're not in our pre-pandemic, craziness, or in our pandemic craziness that we experienced. Now, this is something that I put together. It's kind of a look to the future because, I look at the number of properties or number of, that went under contract in the last week, because typically if a house or a property goes under contract, it's also going to close. That's usually the case. So 97 properties went under contract last week. That's of 867 total listings at that point. That means 11.2% of our market, of our active listings, came off the market. That is still very active. Now, I know you're going to look at the chart below and you're going to, but Hayden, if you look at 2022 and you look at 2021, it's still lower than that. Yes, but same explanation as before. We are not in those times anymore, but we are still very much in a seller's market, where properties are still being bought, on average within 98 days. And, that's definitely a good indicator that we're in a seller's market, that properties are appreciating. But what does that mean to you as a buyer, a seller, a property owner? Well, that could mean a number of different things depending on your situation. So do keep in mind that what I've just shared is general information. If you'd like to schedule some time with me to discuss what your individual situation is, I'd be more than happy to do that with you. Feel free to click on the link below and we'll set aside a time. Hopefully this has all been helpful for you. I hope you guys have a great week, and I appreciate you listening.